Hello, thank you for watching my video, and today I'm going to show you how to play Lieutenant Morales. And the thing about Lieutenant Morales is that she is a very, very good support. In fact, I would say that she is arguably one of the best supports in the game. The thing about Lieutenant Morales, though, is that she relies on a very, very, very good team comp. And that actually makes things quite difficult to play her solo or to actually play her in quick match or in a solo or duo queue. So she's not particularly doing that well in Hero League, so to speak, or rather, I should say that she doesn't have that much potential in Hero League, but with a dedicated team, she is easily one of, if not the best support out there. In fact, I would consider her probably on the same tier as Lily, and she is probably a godlike support in my eyes. So today I'm going to show you a game on Infernal Shrines, and this is where I played Lieutenant Morales in a 2 support, 2 tank, 2 a 2 support, 2 tank, and 1 assassin comp. So the first talent I selected in this game was Trauma Trigger. And the best part about Trauma Trigger is that it gives Lieutenant Morales the much needed survivability. The way Trauma Trigger works is that you gain an untalented safeguard automatically if you take damage well below 50% health. While that effect does have a 20-second internal cooldown, it is far, far better than the other options. I mean, prolonged safeguard isn't too bad. I mean, increasing safeguard's duration by 1 second, that can be pretty handy. Feedback loop is pretty good for ensuring that you have the energy needed to spare, but overall I think it's a bit blarg. And the scouting drone, given the duration of it, and given the fact that 2 basic attacks can actually kill it, I would actually consider the scouting drone a trash tier pick. So I'm not going to talk about the level 4 talents just yet. I'm just going to talk about how this game goes. So the way this started is that I'm actually trying to conserve my energy at the moment. The problem is I don't exactly want everyone to just drop down low and die. But at the same time, I don't exactly want to consume my mana. And of course, the big problem is that nobody's going bot at all here, as you can probably see on the mini-map. And the problem with not going bot lane is that we actually lose out on a big chunk of XP. And Jaina's finally gone to bot lane, so we are finally going to get a bit of XP out of this, but now we've got duo versus duo. And this overall just creates a huge problem, considering the fact they're now above us in level. So I'm not just going to go through the level 4 talents just yet, but now it's gone to the point where we are contesting the shrine, and this team fight actually goes quite badly because we're simply not able to deal the damage necessary. Everyone is also spreading themselves very thin, and this actually makes it very hard to heal as Lieutenant Morales. When you heal as her, you kind of expect people to just come in and straight up. You kind of expect people to just come in and to come over to you for heals, so to speak. And the problem with the way everything's currently going is I'm getting pressured a lot and I have to run back, both to gather energy and to ensure I just don't die. I need to make the Caduceus reactor actually kick in, because the cooldown of it actually resets on attacks. By the way, Caduceus reactor is Lieutenant Morales' passive. It gives her health regen. And health regen is obviously a good thing. And now it's time to talk about the level 4 choices. So at level 4, there are 4 different choices, and that is Bioshield. If your target is at full health, they gain a shield that absorbs 170, or rather 27.5 plus 7.5 per level damage. So 170 is actually the level 30 option, I assume. And of course, it does scale by level. And that stacks up to 5 times. The big problem with Bioshield is that it kind of encourages you to waste your energy. And of course, you don't exactly want to be doing that. Advanced Block, on the other hand, periodically reduces the damage received from hero basic stacks by 50%, and with up to 3 charges stored. Advanced Block is actually one of Lieutenant Morales' best choices at the moment, because on top of Trauma Trigger, it actually gives her the survivability necessary. And the upgraded ballistics, yes, displacement grade displacement grenades, rubber, travel 50% faster, enemies directly impacted take 33% more damage. The thing is, I don't really rate displacement grenades that much. And the times you really would use them is trying to knock back an opponent and make sure he just doesn't crunch you. And then there's Infused Grenade, where Displacement Grenade's mana cost is refunded if you hit an enemy hero. This one is surprisingly popular, even though the Advanced Block is clearly the better choice. And so, going back to the game now, we are 1 level behind. We're almost on the verge of losing a fort, and everything is overall just not going that well. We're a full level behind, and I'm just not feeling that comfortable with the game at the moment. So we just try and farm some more. We're trying to stick to each of the lanes. Now, the level 7 talent choices I'm going to talk to you about now. So, I like using Irradiate in this situation, although Irradiate, which means enemies near your healing beam target, take 50 or 21.5 plus 1.5 per level, robber, damage per second. And Irradiate actually does quite a bit of damage. You would be surprised. Clear isn't actually too bad, but explosion radius is a bit nah. And I will say Clear is actually quite a good choice. I personally prefer Irradiate, but Clear might actually be the better choice there. Cooldown Mule, it is good for making your tower stay up for longer, but it's still a bit blarg considering the benefits the other 2 choices there give. And Cleanse is quite meh as well. And let's head back to the game once again. So that is being contested right now. And the thing is, we failed to contest it. So it's another lost team fight, and this is me telling other players to just stop blocking my path. I tell them if they want heals, or if they want to win the game, I mean, there is actual pathing in the game right now. So there is collision detection, and the problem with that is the fact that people can actually block your path, and when your escape is just blocked like this, and of course I died in a very stupid way. I shouldn't have engaged them. Of course, that death over there was completely my bad. So let's go back to the fact that they're now 4 levels above us. And the big problem with that sort of deficit, and the fact that we've pretty much lost lost a keep here. And of course, when there's that big a level deficit, it definitely does seem like the game is going to go to hell in a breadbasket. But of course, it's not. But of course, it's not the end. We are actually able to clinch this back, due in part to the efforts of the other players and the fact that no one is really complaining at all. Okay then, so we've got another team fight here. The problem is all the ultimates, all the area of effect damage, particularly Tyrann's Starfall, is actually causing us a lot of problems at the moment. Plus Asmodan, he can actually throw those volleys from a very far range and actually catch you out. In fact, I would actually consider him very good in this composition because of his ability to just keep Lieutenant Morales from actually regenerating health. So now I'm going to talk about the level 10 options. A lot of people say medevac drops are very good. However, I think they're very situational. There was once that BlizzCon. Actually, no, it wasn't BlizzCon. It was the ESL Championship. There was an ESL game where someone actually managed to clinch the victory with a medevac pickup all the way to the enemy base. However, I would say that Stim is easily the better option because it will turn one of your damage dealers or one of your bruisers into an absolute machine. And of course, damage is key. So when you actually stim your ally, you expect them to just run in and murder stuff. However, in this game, that didn't actually occur. At least not until much later in the game. The thing is, I would actually recommend stimming warriors more than assassins because assassins will generally not capitalize on it, or at least not in solo queue. When your stim does not actually get capitalized on, it just becomes a wasted cooldown. When in actuality, you're meant to abuse the increased movement speed and the increased attack speed that it actually offers. I mean, it's just the fact that I wasted a stim on the Jaina player, who I would actually consider complete trash. In fact, it actually pains me to see the fact that that stim was completely wasted. And I actually did die because I didn't quite escape the heroic of the Gazlu player, which is like essentially it's a grenade that just sucks you in if you're within the radius. So it's essentially very good crowd control. The thing is, we're back to the position of being behind in 4 levels. And at this point, I thought we were just going to straight up lose the game. I mean, it certainly does seem like the sort of situation where you just outright lose the game. I tried to save Diablo, but he dies extremely quick. I mean, it's not necessarily the fact that he's a bad tank. It's just the fact that they're 4 levels above us, and this becomes a very dangerous situation. We are 2 keeps down. We haven't destroyed a single enemy fort at all. And the big problem here is the fact that we are actually behind in terms of levels here. And it's going to be very difficult for us to actually get back into the game, so to speak. So yeah, we chase it up very aggressively. And of course, I just try and dodge as much as I can. I end up getting disoriented from my team. So they mount up, and then I go straight down, mounting up, going straight down, trying to join the teammate as quickly as I can, and it looks like another shrine is being contested. So let's get back to the team fight right there. We have actually hit level 13, so what I am going to show you, what I am going to explain rather, is the level 13 talent choices. There is Intensive Care, which I would argue to be a very good choice, because when the healing amount increases by 25%, that is going to increase the survivability of anybody who you focus with your healing beam. Couples therapy is also a very good choice because it heals you for 25% of the healing amount. While it doesn't allow you to directly heal yourself, it actually is the preferred option if you're having trouble staying alive. Preventative care is something that may be worth considering, but I think it's weaker than the other two options. And Spell Shield, let's just disregard that one. That one's just no. So what actually happened there was we seriously clinched a team fight there. We managed to just clinch the victory and actually secure the Frozen Puncher. And then the level 16 talents, I would argue that there are some very diverse options there. So, Inoculation increases Safeguard's initial damage reduction to 50% for the first 1.5 seconds. That one is the one I selected in this game. And I would argue it's quite good because generally you'll throw Safeguard onto your target when they're actually being focused down. And that 50% damage reduction for the first 1.5 seconds, that's going to be crucial. Shield Sequencer is actually quite a good choice as well, especially if you have to heal multiple targets or if there's generally like multi-target pressure going on. As for the other two choices, System Shock could be pretty good if you want to secure kills, although I would argue Inoculation and Shield Sequencer are better. Plus, you are essentially a support and your job is to keep the team alive. And Second Opinion, that could actually be a pretty nice choice. If you want to hold 2 charges of Displacement Grenade, that could actually be good for ensuring that you survive. However, Displacement Grenade does have a very precise targeting reticle. So it means that if you have it even like a few degrees off, it's not going to land. In fact, I would argue that Second Opinion is weaker than it actually should be, even though it does seem like a very good talent option. And now, going back to the fight. So, we have equalized the situation quite a bit. We have actually caught up in terms of levels. The problem is, keeping everyone alive is actually going to be extremely difficult. Whenever you've got enemy pressure on you, you've always got to make sure that you have a displacement grenade to completely peel them off you. Or that you're able to run underneath some towers or into the protective clutches of an ally. So yeah, what is going on here now? So we've actually turned the team fight on its head. And it's a 4v3 situation. So I just ensure that Diablo is kept alive. The problem is he dies because of the stun that basically struck me and put me to very low and basically made me unable to actually channel the healing beam. But the thing is, this is actually very, very, very good. My annoyance over there was the fact that my pathing literally got blocked again. And the fact that they just keep running away from me. And that is why I say that this is very important for Lieutenant Morales, because if you actively run around, if you actively pursue trying to heal people, you're going to put yourself out of position and make yourself a glutton for punishment right there. But the thing is, if you stay back, if you kind of expect your allies to come over to you for heals, it lets you stay on the back lines. It establishes a defensive perimeter. And now we've actually unlocked the level 20 talents. And this is where Lieutenant Morales really shines. Her level 10 talent choices are quite limited, but the level 20 choices are actually quite nice. So, at level 20, if you have Stim, you then get Transfusion. And that increases the duration of Stim Drone by 2 seconds. You also gain the effect of Stim Drone when cast on an ally. And the reason why that's a really good thing, first of all, increased Stim duration. That's going to mean far more damage. Second of all, it's put on you. So it allows you to actually play aggressively and just maul the ever-living crap out of your opponent. As for the other choices, Medbay heal is where the medevac heals nearby allies and everyone aboard for 300 or 110 plus 10 per level health per second. Of course, 300 being the level 30 amount. And that isn't, I guess that isn't too bad if you go medevac as well, although, as I said, the medevac dropship is actually a little bit more situational than the Stim drone. And then you've got Caduceus Reactor 2.0. When the Caduceus Reactor is active, you restore 8 mana a second and gain a shield that absorbs 58 plus 8 per level damage. And that stacks up to 5 times. The best part about this is, first of all, it gives you mana regen. Second off, it actually gives you survivability. So, Caduceus Reactor 2.0 is arguably one of the best choices in this tier. As for the final option, the Storm Shield, that's also quite good for giving a burst shield to everyone. So, that is something that you can actually pop if you're in a pinch at all. So, all of the options are actually quite viable. Although, in this particular instance, I did actually pick the Stim. So, not the Caduceus Reactor, rather the Transfusion. So, the increased Stim duration and the self-Stim. So, this is where the team fights just completely turn on their head. The fact we've not only managed to equalize, but we've actually surpassed the level of our opponents. That allows some very, very good exchanges. So even though we lost Jaina, they've actually lost 3 other people in killing our Jaina. And that's the thing. They're now 3 people behind. And we're only 1 person behind. We're also going to secure the Arcane or the Frozen Punisher. We are actually going to secure the Punisher in this instance, and it is going to be a Mortar Punisher. Of course, this is where everything just turns on its head, and we just go all out aggressive. Jaina actually goes down to our base and actually covers the and actually covers the southern lane to ensure that it doesn't just snowball and end in our demise. Meanwhile, we are pushing the top lane aggressively, and the advantage just snowballs and snowballs from there. So everyone's actually alive at the moment. The Mortar Punisher is being crunched, but the thing is, we're kind of playing it safe, and yeah, the thing is, I'm keeping everyone alive by prioritizing both the targets that are near me and those that are very low. And overall, it's just going really, really well. So they've already lost 4 people. All that remains is Asmodan, and he is going down as well. So the thought process behind what happens now, I even though obviously the entire team isn't following my lead here, we get 2 of the keeps down to ensure that we've reached the equivalent amount in case the push doesn't go well, and then we just go straight for the Nexus. And in going for the Nexus, everything goes super. And before they even have the chance to get back alive, we've just ended it. And we've actually gone from a 4 level deficit to being 3 levels above. And that is how you come back from a game. And that is why Lieutenant Morales is one of the best heroes. So thank you for watching, and if you like